morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folarin. My guest this morning is Mr. Malaki Ugumadu, lawyer and human rights activist. So I should start off by saying, even though it's February, compliments of the season, Malaki. This is the first time.
I hope we'll do better next year.
Indeed. Or even this year. This year has just started, you know. So thank you very much for coming on. We'll also be joined subsequently in the program by Okechukwu Nwaguma, another contributor of ours, executive director of RULAC, which is Rule of Law and Accountability Advocacy Center. Okechukwu Nwaguma, you might recognize the name. The name is formerly of NOPRIN, Network on Police Reform in Nigeria. That's NOPRIN. That's where he was before. So, why I have these two gentlemen in the studio with me is because we want to look at the Inspector General of Police matter. By extension, the police in Nigeria matter. Because you've got to start with the head chief. Who's the head of the police? So, well, the Inspector General of Police, what exactly is his status? He seems to be still in office, and then we don't really know what to believe. You see some posts all over the place that the president has asked for the Inspector General of Police to hand over. Maybe that's why we're trying to find out, so what exactly is the situation? First of all, Malaki, tell me what you think about what has become the controversy over the Inspector General of Police's tenure.
To be blunt is to say that there's no need for that controversy. Particularly when we are smarting from the same controversy, the same ambivalence, the same indecision regarding the service chiefs. I had thought that...
And that lingered on?
Yes. I had thought that this would be a situation that will be properly handled, just so to show that we're not in that character. We're not in that habit of one glossing over very important situations, particularly when it has to do with leadership of law enforcement agencies, security agencies. Beyond the failure to do the right thing at the right time, it has implications in the men and officers in those institutions, because, as it were, these are career services where people hope that, given specific periods of time, the chances are that they will be promoted, that they will attain the height of their career and professions. So I don't think that controversy is important for the reason I've given. Secondly, the security situation in the country is not such that leaves anyone in doubt where the leadership of law enforcement agencies are, no less the police, which is the primary security organization in the country that interfaces with the public and the people. The people at the moment are downcast. They are, very deeply affected by the activities of outlaws. I'm talking of insurgents. I'm talking of bandits. I'm talking of kidnappers. I'm talking of armed robbers. And so needed the kind of psychological protection, one that leaves no one thinking that even the political leadership is not in control of the situation.
So the last thing we need is a controversy, as you put it,
as to who is in charge of
exactly. What? We've been joined, as I had said earlier, now by Okechukwu Nwaguma, Executive Director, Rule of Law and Accountability Advocacy Center, formerly of NOPRIN. The NOPRIN is the Network on Police Reform, but we can see that it's sort of related. So good morning to you, okay?
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Happy New Year.
Indeed, compliments of the season. So how are you?
Yeah,
Thank you, okay. I know you are going to extend that felicitation to me. Good morning, and Happy New Year to you, too.
Yeah.
Yes, Malaki, good morning.
Yeah, okay. How do you receive what we are referring to here, for a lack of a better expression, as the controversy over the IGP's tenure?
I think this is a needless controversy. Sure. A needless controversy because it is not as if this is something that has come suddenly, something we didn't envisage. The law is very clear, and by the law I'm referring to both the Constitution and the Police Act. they are both clear on the procedure for the appointment of a new Inspector General of Police when there is vacancy. So it was actually a surprise that as we speak, that all that we hear from the presidency is more. I'm also surprised that the governors of the states who are members of the police council, because the task of appointing the Inspector General of Police falls on the police council. The police council, I'm not aware, has met, and it comprises of the president as the chairman, the governor of each state of the federation and the federal capital territory, the chairman of the Police Service Commission, and the Inspector General of Police. This council, to the best of my knowledge, has not met, and all these and for the president to allow these controversies to continue, for me, it's not helping matters. It shows how sluggish the president is. It takes us back to the 2015 when the president was elected. It took him 6 months to constitute his cabinet on his reappointment. On his re-election. The same thing happened. So why does the president tarry to do what the law requires him to do? Why does he allow room for speculations? Today, Adamu remains in office in contravention of the law. His term as IG of police expired at the midnight of February 1, and that he has continued to be in office, leaving room for speculations is not helping. It's simply embarrassing for want of a better word.
Okay. Malaki, when he accuses the presidency of sluggishness regarding this matter, and perhaps these kind of matters, a fair comment, is it not?
Well, God bless his soul. I remember Prince Tony Momo, of now blessed memory, in defense of the president, alluded to the fact that that was a style.
Yeah.
But I also listened to Professor Wole Soyinka, who said that there are moments and most times when you don't have the luxury of those
that kind of style.
So we are stuck in between.
Because look, I think you sort of made reference to the service chiefs and
yes.
What it cost us
yes.
in terms of national,
yes.
shall I say, anguish
yes.
or suspense
yes.
before we could get what we wanted.
And when it did come, the sale had been taken away, the shine taken away from the sale. There was no moment to it any longer. The kind of enthusiasm that was expected to be mobilized from the people, the interest of the people, the involvement of the people was taken away.
Yeah.
So now here we are, and I thank Okechukwu for pointing to the law. You see, when it becomes a legal matter, you have very little
room to maneuver.
For maneuvering.
If February 1st is February 1st, I mean, it's not this. It's written.
The law is focused on two aspects of the person in question. If he has spent 35 years in service or has attained 60 years of age, whichever comes first, he must exit at that material point. And the IG, Adamu, attained 35 years in service on the first of. This fact was known to Nigerians long before this time. And so if the president, if it suits the convenience of the president to allow Nigeria to slip into the same controversy that had just, literally decimated even the security formations by the refusal to appoint service chiefs, then it means something is fundamentally wrong. Because to toy with these institutions, I'm talking of these security outfits, in the way and manner you dampen the morale of the service men and officers, is to toy with the security of the country.
Okay, one moment. Okay, when
yes.
when as Malaki said, it appears as if you're toying with a very, very important institution and perhaps before then institutions. I feel that whereas I understand it, I also feel that would be the very, very last thing that the presidency would want to do if its hands were not tied. Now, by which I mean, perhaps there are factors that we don't know. Because as Malaki has pointed out, there were set dates we were looking towards those dates. They are written. It is the law. And the president of a country doesn't go against the law lightly because everybody knows this law. So that is what will be confusing quite a few. What is the difficulty? Is it that right now we are caught in the situation where there are no competent hands to move into place should the right thing, the needful thing be done, or maybe some other complications? Otherwise, nothing could be simpler. The time rose into its own fruition, and then certain actions are supposed to be taken. Why do you think it's difficult, as it must be, if the presidency, or if it hasn't been done 4 days, 4 or 5 days, 3 or 4 days after the expiry date of the tenure of the incumbent Inspector General of Police?
I think that the president is the one making things difficult for himself. There's nothing difficult about the procedure for the appointment of an IGP. There is no want of capable hands within the Nigeria police. There are competent, qualified officers within the rank of AIG, DIG, even commissioners. Of course, the law says the person to be appointed must not be less than the rank of an AIG. If you look at the rank of personnel within the rank of AIG and DIG, we have competent people that can be appointed. But the problem is that, just like we all know, this government, more than any other one, likes to play politics with everything, including security. You see, I think that they are just they don't care about following the law, following the procedure laid down by the law. There are other considerations.
Well,
including
okay. Those are personal opinions that you are expressing.
No. Well,
yeah. When you say they don't care, don't forget that we have no less than a professor of law in the presidency, the vice president. So I'm sure, working as one team, the vice president can't be in attendance and the administration not care about following the law.
The vice president is not a member of the police council.
All right.
He has no role to play in this process.
Yeah.
Okay. He has no role to play. But I'm saying that if you look at the trajectory, the pattern of appointments that this president has made over time.
Okay. Reverend Dominic is on the line. Reverend Dominic, I'm going to be with you as soon as OK lands. Okay, land, please, because I want to take Reverend Dominic.
Can I go on?
Yeah. Okay. Just give us a second. Let me take Reverend Dominic. Good morning, Reverend.
Good morning, Yori. Happy New Year.
Indeed.
Morning, Malaki. Happy New Year.
Compliments of the season, Reverend.
Yeah, thank you. Yori, I don't think we need to bother ourselves in this issue. Our government have taken this kind of color. There must be controversy in everything. Listen to me. If they want to renew the appointment of the present IG, what it takes on 31st of January to say he will continue. They are also at the side of the law. Or he will not continue. Why do we allow every controversy in everything? It doesn't bother me any longer. It is the nature of my government. I frustrated this government. It's the nature of my government. Let me use that word. My government will like to dilly-dally in everything. If it's the way nation should be built, well, it's okay. If it's not, let Nigerians, begin to make up their mind. What kind of government would they like in 2023? It's now.
Okay.
Would we like to continue this way, or would we like to choose another one, maybe in APC, maybe in PDP, maybe another person? Nigeria must take a stand. Government is not for people in government. All of us are government, together.
Yeah.
It's what you want. Everything goes well with Nigeria. The chief of army staff, I cried about it last year, and I give up the ghost on that issue. When they change it, whether there's a difference, I do not know. But what I'm trying to say, we have intelligent people in this government. Why do they like to dip themselves in controversy unnecessarily?
Okay, Reverend Dominic, thank you very, very much for calling in. Appreciate your call. Malaki, to bring you to also weigh in on the matter that was pursuing. He says that from what he knows, there is no lack of competent hands. And then, as Reverend Dominic is saying, can it be perchance that there are intentions to tinker with the whole tenure matter? Such being the case, come out and let us know about it in good time. This date didn't materialize day before yesterday. No. It's been there, it's on the book, so we knew today would come. And yet here we are. It would appear as if they are allowing, if indeed it is the presidency that is at fault, they are allowing all this talk to continue on what people see as an unnecessary matter.
Well, on the concern of Reverend Dominic,
let me add Mazi Okirafo. Good morning, Mazi.
Good morning, Sayori. Good morning, Barrister Malaki.
Good morning, Yaro Chukuma.
You see, there's something our judge discovered in Nigeria today. The controversy we are talking about, the IGP. You see, we are in a country that whereby what we have is that the chief executive have that nomenclature of sit tight. Now, you know very well that your tenure expires so date. What are you supposed to do? Is to write to the authority concerned that, look, so date I'm disengaging from the organization. That's the normal procedure. But the question is this. Most of the things we face today is that when we enter office, we don't want to leave the office. And that is the issue.
Okay, Mazi, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's because of time. But what you're saying is that the sit-tight syndrome ails us as a nation. I'm sorry for paraphrasing you and just leaving it there. Mazi thinks it's nothing more than what the very familiar sit-tightism, which I just made up, that ails most Nigerians in office.
The issue is whether it's permissible, because we're a country governed by laws. Even from the standpoint of Reverend Dominic's concern, it is that even if that was the wish, assuming without considering that those were the wish of the government to perpetuate Adamu as Inspector General of Police, in other words, extend his tenure. The question is it permissible within the law?
Okay.
The law is clear as to what happens when you conclude your 35th year in service. It is also clear when you attain 60 years of age.
Yeah, we're talking about the Inspector General of Police now.
Correct.
And when we're talking about the service chiefs, such law? There wasn't any such law to be contended with.
That was a different ballgame.
Okay.
Yes.
These kind of strictures don't apply in that instance.
As regards the Inspector General of Police, we are referencing the Police Act.
Okay.
In short, there is a new Police Act 2020. But because his own appointment took effect under the old act, you can only be talking of the law applying, proactively and not retrospectively.
Okay.
So having made that point, it is that even if the government wishes to extend his tenure, are they at liberty to do so? The answer is no, because the law has stated what it is that must happen if a police officer recruited into the Nigerian police force attains 35 years in service. This gentleman, and I see him as such, even from the way he looks, attained 35 years in service on the 1st of February. So it's immaterial whether he has attained 60 years.
Of course, it's a matter of whichever comes first.
So once you hit that milestone, the government will have no option other than to relieve him of that service. The other aspect of the law, which is even by far more important, is what does the Constitution itself says.
Indeed. Okay, let me take
at section 215, 216.
Let me take Mr. Kesandu. Did I get that right? Mr. Kesandu?
Yes, Kesandu, yes.
Kesandu. Good morning, sir.
Yes, Kesandu. Good morning.
Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Barrister.
Okay.
Yes.
Good morning.
The truth about it is that it is high time our president started acting presidential. Because I don't know, what we call corruption is all about people stealing money or probably laundering money. But when Mr. President fails to act within the ambit of the Constitution, I think it's still corruption. And these are things we should stop. Mr. President took an oath to protect and preserve the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I do not understand why this illegality will still happen. For over 3 days, this man's tenure has ended. And I am happy there was this human rights lawyer that has gone to ask for the court interpretation on this. I think it's high time, Mr. President,
came out clear to talk to Nigerians about some of these things.
Well, since we have all sorts of lawyerly folks and police folks and people who know about it, I understand when you say in the very strict sense, these are not lawful matters. It's going against the law. But whether it is corruption is an entirely different ballgame. I just wanted to make the point that if you want, be strict and say that it is illegal. But I don't see that you can make the transition to corruption from the presidency in the same breath. Kesandu. Okay, maybe I lost him.
So Section 215 of the Constitution is a section that empowers the president to appoint an IG, an IGP. He does that on the advice of the Nigerian Police Council. Mm-hmm. That section is made subject to Section 216, subsection 2. This section re-emphasizes the role of the Nigerian Police Council in the appointment, removal of the Inspector General of Police. The big question is, has that body met? And you see, that body is very crucial because it's not just the president. Of course, the president is the chairman of the council.
Yeah,
you have the governors.
But it's part of the same.
All of them. So
when you ask the question, has that body met? It's part of the whole thing we've been talking about. Everybody knew, the police council more than anybody else knew when this tenure would expire. So that we're asking, for example, now, understandably, has that body met? Because we're covering all the bases. Because when we ask that question, it's pointing to the same malaise that everybody seems to. Now, okay. What do you think are the options, available now? We've passed that juncture where the right thing could have been done, should have been done, and could have been done. Apparently, it hasn't. So, what are the options now? What's left now?
Well, unfortunately, the police council has abdicated its responsibility, particularly the governors, who ought to insist that the council be convened to address, and in fact, it's not just appointment of IGP, but also addressing the whole state of security in the country. And we are in an emergency with regards to security. So the police council ought to be meeting more regularly than even prescribed. But I'm saying that having failed to appoint an IGP as we speak, there can be a vacuum. So what we expect is for the retired IGP, Adamu, to honorably leave office and hand over to the most senior DIG, who is the DIG in charge of operations.
Okay, one moment, please. One moment. Hold your thought there. Let me take Mohammed, who has called in who has come in on the phone. Good morning, Mr. Mohammed. I understand that we lost Mr. Mohammed. So, okay, Wanguma and, Malaki here, and indeed our viewers at home. Just stand by, please. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
It's time for Ehingbeti, the private sector-led Lagos Economic Summit. This year's edition is a virtual event for business leaders, academics, techies, and entrepreneurs to set an implementable agenda for a greater Lagos. From the 16th to 18th of February 2021, participants from all over the world will converge to discuss transformational initiatives that will advance the development of Lagos State at the Ehingbeti Online Summit. At the forefront of this summit is the private sector, leading discussions that will provide government with a roadmap for Lagos till 2050. For more than 20 years, Ehingbeti has contributed significantly to infrastructural and policy development in Lagos State. Join the conversation today. Contribute your quota. Register for the conference at www.ehingbetisummit.com. Together for a greater Lagos. Ehingbeti is hosted by the Lagos and powered by Stanbic IBTC Pensions, STB Building Society, United Bank for Africa, Providus Bank, Vetiva Capital Management, Leadway Assurance, Premium Pension, Trust Fund Pension, and Ford Foundation.
Around 8 o'clock like this, I begin to shoot everybody.
When the men they reach there now, we beg them, please, come. They don't help us. But when they spoil everything.
We have reported the matter to the police.
Okay, welcome back. And we're trying to understand from the point of view of commentators, actually. Maybe Frank Mba and Co need to get in on this whole matter. What exactly is happening with the tenure of the IGP? We don't even know how to refer to him. You can't say the retired IGP, even though OK did use the term, because that particular hedge hasn't been crossed yet.
By friction of time, yes.
Okay.
By friction of time.
Exactly. Maybe then if we get ourselves before a judge and pronouncements have to be made, then when that pronouncement is made, it doesn't matter whether you raise the letter or not. This time came about, and so you are retired. But as OK was also pointing out, I don't know, we seem to have a challenge, a slight challenge keeping OK because of the line. Okay, the line I think is a bit, the signal is a bit stronger now. So you were making the point, okay, that a vacuum cannot be permitted, and you've also opined that there is no shortage of competent hands within the police. And you said the most, if we were to go that route, although we don't necessarily have to, as we've seen in different instances, if we were to go that route, then you were saying the most senior is who?
Yes, I mean, in terms of not leaving a vacuum, he ought to hand over to the most senior, who is the DIG in charge of operations, for the purpose of holding forth, pending when a substantive IGP will be appointed. But we do not expect that the president and the police council should continue to further delay in doing the needful. We cannot continue to play politics with security. The president, the police council should be convened immediately to advise the president on who will be appointed the next IGP. There are a lot of officers within the ranks of AIG and DIG who are competent to take over.
Okay, one moment, please. Ayo in Ibadan. Good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning. Hello?
Hello, go right ahead, please.
Hello?
Ayo, good morning. Carry on, please. Go right ahead, Ayo. Clearly. Okay, it looks like we're having a problem with that call as well. Bayo, I understand in Ibadan. I don't know if you can hear us, but he came on. No vacuum can be allowed. Well, nobody has been announced as filling any vacuum, if there is a vacuum. And so, quite frankly, we have to wait on an official statement.
Well, that is the situation.
Unfortunately.
The
law is the law.
It's a bullet to be beaten. But I'm sure and I'm aware, I think I read through that just like one of the commentators tried to say, that a lawyer had approached the court through an originating summons to seek the interpretation of the court regarding the position of the law.
But why do we allow these matters to get this far gone?
It is because we have a laid-back government, a government that believes that, yes, the laws are there, but
there's also a lot of convenience.
Outcry, yes, convenience. A lot more outcry need to happen before those laws can be activated. Because, to be frank, is that we have a very serious organ in all of these processes.
And we don't need any distraction in today in this situation where security is primary, it's front and center.
Precisely the point I made in my preliminary statement.
We don't need it. So
we have a national council comprising the president as the chairman, the 36 governors, the chairman of the Police Service Commission, the IGP himself, and then the Director General of Department of Police in the presidency, who is to serve as the secretary. Now, if you have such a composition, one would have expected that 36 out of 38 or 39, committee, people within the category of governors should be able to have enough influence to prevail or at least persuade the president to take decision on the appointment. The reason is simple. It is that the country is floundering.
One moment, please.
Security is
good morning, Mr. Joshua in Irewolede.
Very good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
And I greet your guest. Mine is taking it from the point of national interest in terms of how to push forward without creating more problems for ourselves.
Okay.
You see, I'm a little bit concerned when lawyers raise issues of law. They are the ones that will tell you, okay, AIG should retire based on attaining an age or number of years in service. But I'll tell you that the same lawyers are the ones who will go to court and bring up another thing that will help the government or the presidency to make that man remain in power. It is lawyers. So, you see, we have an issue of where national interest comes in. How do we overcome these technical issues, right?
Yeah, but Joshua, one wishes one knew what exactly these technical issues are. The 1st of February was known that it was going to roll by. We knew that 6 months ago. We knew that as far as the police community is concerned, that in 6 months we'll have the 1st of February. Mr. IGP is out of office on that day.
Sorry, sir. In addition, the only legal action so far is the one emphasizing that the man ought to go.
But I'm putting it to you, Uncle Yori, get another lawyer. You will hear another opinion from that lawyer telling you why the man will remain.
I understand you. I think I get you. But you and I, not being lawyers, we are persuaded that it's written down in law what should happen. And so ordinary people like you and I will necessarily be a bit shocked when that date grows by and it looks like we are not following the law. And I use we now.
So I appeal to the president to follow the law, and to the lawyer too. He should appeal to his colleagues.
Okay.
Because they will go to court now and defend the president.
I hear you.
Thank you.
Well, I think so far, the only, and I think if you're monitoring the social media and all the available space there, it is that the law is clear and constant.
Yeah.
And there isn't any reason why Mr. President should not act on the law so that we don't get into this controversy. And more to it is that we have just informed you that the lawyer had gone to court insisting that there is no basis.
And it's very frustrating to have to be speculating.
It's actually depressing.
Yes,
not frustrating.
It's not comfortable at all. We're reading on social media, of all places, that the president has asked the inspector general to hand over. That's not the kind of source you want to be quoting.
And when he said, when he did say that, if he said so, what happened?
What has happened? So,
continue to see
no, I think Mr. Frank Kumba needs to speak up on this. You know, he just needs to help everybody. And Frank usually does. He usually does. But then again, all sorts of strictures.
There's a limit to which my friend can speak.
As to who can speak, when he shall speak, and what he shall say when he is about to speak. I think another call is coming in. Henry. Okay, we have Mr. Henry. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yes, I just want to contribute to this issue of IG.
Okay. What do you think about it? His term has expired. He's still in place.
Yes. My concern is that I don't know why this IG to bring any controversy. All along, the IG knew he has to resign. And everybody...
Retire.
That he has to resign. And again, we just existed this services problem. Since I just want to not even constitute any problem, not even constitute any problem at all. So let the president act as the president and let me do the next one.
All right, then. Thank you very much for calling in. Okay, I understand the signal is better, and you're back with us again. And what has been said while you were away was commentators have been saying that they, like you, quite frankly, are at sea as to why we have this situation on our hands. You were making the point, you've made it, in fact, that a vacuum cannot be allowed. Well, we don't even have a vacuum because the incumbent has not become a retiree, as far as you and I know. So we're just going to have to... it looks like a situation where, unfortunately, we're managing. We're going to have to manage.
I tell you something. There is a vacuum because there is a set of inertia at the force headquarters. Nothing is happening. You see, officers do not know who to take directives from. So this thing is affecting the smooth running of the Nigerian police force, and this must be addressed as quickly as possible.
Okay.
The man should honorably leave. The police council must meet as soon as possible and resolve this. This
might be so okay. This might be so okay because every policeman probably knows the significance of the 1st of February. So that's what has led to what you are reporting, that there seems to be low-key depression within the police force as to knowing how to proceed. Is that right? I think the remote connection. I do know that we have someone calling in from the UK. Good morning, Mr. Ade from the UK. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, King of Presenters. How are you today?
Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for calling in.
My greeting to your guest.
Indeed, he hears you.
My contribution to this issue is that this matter is very simple. I don't know why you don't understand the system of the government. I'm a member of APC. The reason why they don't appoint the next IG is that the next IG is going to be from the north. So they want somebody from the north. That's why they are delaying it.
Wait a minute, Mr. Ade. Go over that again. You said the next IGP is, and then network intervened. What were you saying?
It's from the south.
Should come from the
south.
south.
They don't want to pick from the south. They are looking from the north.
But the powers that be don't want that southerner. And according to you, allegedly, they are still looking for a northerner to fit.
Yes.
According to you.
You know, we in diaspora, we can read.
Mr. Ade, is that not something of a... Mr. Ade, is that not something of a conspiracy theory in its own right?
Of course, it's been happening. Look at the chief of army staff. They spent 48 years in their service. That was 35. So all those people that should take over from them, they are gone. So it's the same thing with IG. They are looking for somebody from the north, maybe from Kano.
Well, we were not even going as far. We were talking about. I'm sorry for speaking over you. We weren't even going as far. We were limiting ourselves to the allegation of perceived sluggishness in taking action, on taking decisions. That's where we limited ourselves onto. You brought this complex one. You don't think it's just sluggishness?
That has been the system from day one.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Mr. Ade. I appreciate your calling in, Mr. Ade. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Ade from London. You've thrown a cat in among the pigeons you have, because we are looking at sluggishness, slowness, lethargy, indecision,
ambivalence.
Thank you, sir. Look at all those ones. Now, Mr. Ade added his own that it's a usual Nigeria problem. But as I said, that really has to be filed, if it is going to be filed, under the category of conspiracy theory. That's just our in-house comment on that. Okay, you heard what Mr. Ade from the UK said. Do you have any reaction to those kind of lines of thought?
You see, if you go by the antecedents of the president, it is not far-fetched. The president does not prioritize competence, merits, and professionalism.
Wait a minute. No. That statement. Wait. That statement that you've just made, I have to ask you to be very. Consider it properly. How can you say what you've just said, that the president is not concerned about merit, and you added some more damaging things? No, we have to emphasize that is your own personal opinion that you are contributing. It has nothing to do with us. But please continue.
Yeah. This kind of way of running the affairs of a country leaves room for all manner of speculations. So when people come up with all these theories and speculations, you don't blame them. You blame those who ought to do something but refuse to do what they ought to do. I think that, just like I keep saying, if we have honor in this country, people should know when to quit, and people should do their job without considering other things outside what the law requires them to consider.
Well, thank you very, very much. Mr. Okewaguma, thank you very much for making time to join us this morning. We could have talked about this a bit more, but our time is always the dictator. Really appreciate your perspectives. Okay, and also, I have to thank you, Malaki, for putting, and everybody else, who contributed on this particular subject. We just hope that we get clarity very, very shortly. We need the clarity that Police Service Commission or someone like Frank Mba are the only people who can say to us, now, this is the line, and this is the position, and we can work with this. Thank you very much, as always, for putting a legal perspective on all of this.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Please stay with us, and we'll come back. We look at health, but perhaps not what you're thinking about. We'll be right back.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and government to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
Every 1 hour, 86 migrants enter Lagos State. It is a beehive of activities. Every second counts in this city that never goes to sleep. There is always something to talk about. We go the extra mile to tell the story of Africa's 5th largest economy.
We track happenings on land, on waterways,
and in the air. We go against all odds to ensure that you are heard.
25% of the entire spread of Lagos is covered with water.
I'm Adedoja Salamadeni. I live in Lagos.
There is always more to a story than the screaming headline. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions, and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Welcome back, and to close off now, it's not because it isn't important, but we do have to schedule these conversations. I did say we're speaking about health, but not COVID-19, important as that is. It is still front and center. But today is World Cancer Day, and it's a day that's been set aside to sensitize people and also, just get them to, just sort of remind us that it's one of those things out there that everybody needs to be as highly informed as they can about it, especially as we march towards, inexorably march looking for a cure, which there doesn't appear to be any in sight. Talking about cancer. Well, our friend, long-standing Dr. Femi Olaleye. Dr. Femi Olaleye is joining us. There you go. Hi, Doc. It's been quite a while, so it's great to have you with us. It's great to have you with us, Dr. Olaleye. Dr. Olaleye,
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Dr. Olaleye is a pro who's worked abroad. He's worked here. He's into medical philanthropy. The last time we spoke, which was some years ago, it was all about some outreach, taking medicine to areas that it would otherwise not have got had it been entirely up to government. But Dr. Olale, this morning we're talking about it being World Cancer Day. Now, the point I wanted to bring to you is that we're in the middle of this pandemic, this global pandemic that is leaning heavily on resources of hospitals worldwide. Now, what do you think that does to us in Nigeria? Because the medical profession still has to take care of all the other things hospitals usually do, from childbirths to operations to everything else. Yet we are understanding that we have very, very few spare beds because of COVID-19. Give me your thoughts on this juxtaposition.
Okay, thank you very much for having me. Good morning, viewers. Today being World Cancer Day, the focus of the WHO and the United Nations is to get everybody to act with regards to cancer prevention. But that's going to be a very difficult one because the whole world is involved with a pandemic, a global pandemic caused by the coronavirus, and it leading to a lot of patients with COVID-19. And that is a problem. And as you said, juxtaposing it is really a challenge because coronavirus is not going to slow down because we need to do an awareness. So we have to sort of make sure we work within the safety guidelines of making sure we social distance, we wear a mask where we are raising awareness. However, when patients who are needing to go into hospital need to go into hospital, there's a challenge because most of the patients in hospital are afraid to go to hospital to start with because of fear of picking up coronavirus. Medical personnel are overworked because they're looking after coronavirus patients or COVID-19 patients. And more importantly, we don't have enough resources. Particularly, this, the World Health Organization recommends a particular doctor to patient ratio for every country. Nigeria is lagging behind seriously with this. We don't have enough doctors to look after patients. So compound that with lack of access, financial challenges, with COVID-19, then we really have a big challenge in our hands. So you're absolutely right. It's a big challenge out for those on the front line of healthcare delivery in hospitals. I don't work in hospital. I'm not a hospital doctor anymore. I'm more of a community outreach doctor. Right now, today, I'm in Lagos Island, delivering an awareness campaign with the Lagos State Government Office of Civic Engagement, delivering an outreach program for the community. So I sincerely agree with you that a lot needs to be done for those of my colleagues who work in the hospital section.
Sure. Dr. Lale, cancer, today being World Cancer Day, cancer is a very wide field. There's a cancer almost for every thing. I don't know, do you have any indication as to, in our society, what would be the most challenging of the cancers? We hear about breast cancer, I don't know, we hear about tumors, cancer of the stomach, cancer of the pancreas. Do you have an idea?
You're right.
Do you have an idea of what seems to ail us most in our parts here?
We do. Every 10 years, there's a study called the Global Cancer Study, Global Can. Anybody who wants to Google it can Google Global Can. The last study was 2018. The previous one was 2008. And basically, the study looks at the incidence and the mortality of worldwide incidence and mortality of cancer cases. And in this last study, it's shown that in Africa and Nigeria, women still suffer more from breast cancer and cervical cancer, the two leading cancers affecting women. And prostate cancer is the leading cancer affecting men. However, cervical cancer kills more women than breast cancer in Nigeria. And this is a sad reality of our women, that these two cancers, they are very preventable. Despite the fact that they are very preventable through screening and vaccination and early detection, our women don't have access to screening programs. They don't have access to free screening clinics where they can detect these things early. So they present they present late rather than early. And because of late detection, more people die from this cancer in Nigeria. Unlike other countries, unlike European or American countries, cervical cancer is no longer a threat to their society because they organize pap smears regularly. They have HPV vaccines for their girls and sexually active women, and they have standard routine mammograms for the women. Meanwhile, the men also are encouraged to do prostate-specific antigen tests, which is PSA for men above 40. These are all preventive programs that should be embedded in the primary healthcare policy of every nation.
You know, Dr. Femi Olale,
that's one of the reasons why we still have this problem.
Dr. Femi Olale, I want to thank you very much. And even though it's not the brightest of notes, I really appreciate that you've managed to, as it were, give us an overview of the cancer situation and discuss the impact, on healthcare because of the global pandemic that everybody is facing. Thank you very much. We're going to have to link up again so we can speak a bit more about this. Thank you for having me. And the other fine work that you're doing in the community. Thank you very much, Dr. Olale. Thank you very much. Okay. Thanks for having me. Sure. So that's our program today then. We want to thank our guests, Malaki Ugumadu, Okechukwu Nwaguma, and indeed all of you that called in contributing to the subject. As I leave, as always, do everything you can to not catch COVID-19, which is all the protocols, 6 feet distance minimum, face mask, nose mask, wash your hands as often as you can. And on that, I'll say, bye-bye. See you tomorrow, God willing. I'm Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.